at Wytlabs, a full-service marketing agency. Today's guest is Dustin. Dustin, feel free to introduce yourself and let our viewers know about yourself and your background.
Yeah, I'm Dustin Keele. I'm the founder and CEO of SolRates. We are a software company that has an online platform that commercial solar installers use to provide compelling financing options to their business customers. They can create proposals on the fly. SolRates doesn't actually underwrite any of those loans. They're generally structured with our bank partners that we have. We have a stall of preferred lenders. And yeah, that's a little bit about us. My background, I got started in the solar space after coming out of a professional career in real estate. I used to manage portfolios of real estate for publicly traded companies. And then back in 2007, a friend approached me that had owned the largest private commercial finance company in California, a guy named Reed Rutherford, just a terrific gentleman. Approached me to help him launch a new company. So I was a developer in the solar space for a number of years, did a number of public school district projects, and then pivoted into the military space. And at one point in time, that last company had just over $3 billion of multiple award task order contracts with the U.S. Department of Defense, which I promise you sounds a lot cooler than it actually is, but it was still great. And then alongside that, I had another company that was doing online sales and marketing automation. And about 2015, I got this idea in my head that what if I could blend those two worlds together? And that's where SolRates was born. So we're going back to July of 2015. And I got some help from some very talented people, had some assistance from a very senior software engineer that used to be at Apple. We built a platform where solar no longer had to, struggle getting commercial financing for these business projects. So it's been a really exciting ride, and we've seen a lot of consistent year-over-year growth, and we're excited to be in our space.
Awesome. Who's your target audience for the brand?
Our target audience is this is one of the things that kind of differentiates us in the market. We are particularly well suited for for-profit customers, or for-profit businesses that want to keep the tax credits and benefits of going solar. And if you're not familiar with that world, in the current marketplace, the basic level of the investment tax credit is 30% of the cost of the system. And that's assuming all those costs are eligible for the tax credit. And just so that there's no confusion out there, SolRates does not provide legal, tax, or accounting advice. Anything we say, do, or provide should not be considered legal, tax, or accounting advice. For legal, tax, and accounting advice, you must consult your own qualified advisors. But the solar space really is largely incentivized at the federal level through tax-based incentives. So our key market are for-profit businesses that want to keep the tax credits and benefits of going solar. And the financing that we have through our preferred lenders is specifically designed to target that niche. And then we do that primarily by working through this group of commercial installers and developers across the country. And I think we are at 690 right now, so approaching 700 of those on the platform. Yeah, we see about $100 million a month of commercial solar proposals generated through the platform. So it's an exciting space.
Awesome. What areas do you service? The entire U.S.?
Yes, but in practicality, solar only works well in certain states unless you are able to set up some specific rebates that might be available. So for a long time, California was the main source of action. And then there was this redesign of the net energy metering credits. We're in NEM 3.0, which just means you have to install a slightly smaller system for a customer, or you need to partner it with energy storage. New Jersey's a big market. New York is a big market. We've done a lot of deals in Texas, but we actually have financed through our bank partners projects all across the country. Nothing in Alaska yet, but the economics differ quite a bit. If you're in a place like New Jersey that has this really strong SREC, it's a renewable energy credit market, where the utility essentially pays you, in addition to your electricity bill savings, they pay you a considerable amount over a 15-year period of time. It makes a lot of sense. If you're in, say, Oklahoma, where I grew up, it doesn't necessarily always make sense there. You kind of have to have the right special incentives locked in order for a project to pencil there. It doesn't mean it can't happen, but you need to have something like a REAP grant or something like that lined up. And those tax credits, you can also get bonus tax credits, which can take that tax credit from 30% up to 40%, even up to 50 or even 60% if you happen to have all the right things overlapping. We got really lucky in the Inflation Reduction Act, and that has had just a wonderful impact on our business and the particular type of financing that our lenders offer.
Awesome. I know you touch on this briefly, but what makes you different or better than your competitors?
Yeah, I think most of the competition in the market is focused on offering financing for businesses that can't use the tax credits and benefits. So they're going to either have somebody else come in and take ownership of that system, and then they're going to keep a lot of that value because nobody does this for free, right? And or there's like a different type of financing structure called an operating lease, where the bank essentially receives all the tax credits and benefits. But the best way to do it is where the customer can keep the tax credits and benefits, assuming they have enough tax appetite for it. And the nice thing is you can take the investment tax credit up to 3 years into the past and carry it forward out to 23 years into the future, which is a huge benefit if you're a business and you're trying to take advantage of this. And then there's bonus depreciation and 5-year makers that goes on top of that. It's an interesting space. But what makes us unique is we specifically structure these transactions to benefit the companies that want to keep the tax credits and benefits.
Gotcha. Awesome. What's your future plan for yourself and the brand?
Future plans for us, we're just continuing to expand in the US. I don't think we have any plans for international expansion. We've a lot of what I've talked about already is just how our financing is structured. That's really dependent upon being in the United States, where you have a tax credit and a depreciation-based market. Outside of the US, I don't know that we have a whole lot of secret sauce. I mean, one of the things that we did that you don't see is we spent quite a bit of time and money working with tax counsel and CPA advisors to help get our structuring to where it's just really competitive. Generally speaking, the cost of funds, the effective cost of funds to our customers are significantly below what they would be able to get directly from their bank. So, our plans are to just continue to expand here nationally.
Awesome. That's great. So being an entrepreneur, I'm sure you've had some of these challenges in the past few years. What are some of the challenges you had and how did you overcome them?
I think the biggest challenge we had was back in the early days. We're not exactly a marketplace, but SolRates almost functions like a tri-sided marketplace, right? You have the installers that use the platform to generate proposals for their business customers. You have banks that provide the underwriting for those financing and actually lend the funds. And then you have the customers, which are the ones that are actually buying the solar energy system and borrowing the money to pay for it. And what's really tricky is when you're getting started, it's the chicken and the egg problem, right? Mm-hmm. How do you solve the chicken and the egg problem? And I got really lucky. Early on, there was a guy, I want to say it was with TrueCar, maybe. In any case, I was at one of these Silicon Valley networking events, and they were having a group of founders get up and share about their experience of how did they solve their toughest challenges. And what I learned out of that is you could leverage a strategic partnership to give yourself instant access to the kind of volume that you need to get the lenders interested in the platform. Now, we had to get really creative in the beginning because lenders have a pretty big moat before they're willing to work with software platforms like ours. So getting creative to solve some of those challenges in the early days was interesting. Now we're on the other side of it, and we have a wonderful group of partners out there. We're actually able to direct a lot of the structuring on our end. Ultimate credit underwriting is in their boat, but solving that chicken and the egg problem was really challenging. I think one of the greatest things that we did in our early days is we signed up a strategic partnership with one of the largest commercial equipment distributors in the solar space, a company called CED. And that gave us access to just a huge number of installers across the country. We've learned over time that there are kind of some different qualifications we like to see from installers and developers that we work with than what we had in the first days. They really need to have a little bit more experience, and they need to be focused kind of more on a little bit larger projects. Ideally, SolRates can, our lenders will fund stuff that's very small. I mean, I think the smallest project we funded to date was around $22,000, but this stuff really works a lot better in the, million to $2 million plus range. $500,000 works fine too. But when you get into smaller projects, you tend to not have a CFO at the company that's getting solar. And it tends to be a little bit harder for them to, kind of pull away from their daily business activities to look at solar as an investment. I mean, to our great benefit, it does in these correct markets. It pencils out wonderfully. I'm not really aware of other investments that have the same kind of returns for the limited amount of risk that solar has. It's just phenomenal if you happen to be lucky enough to be in like a state like Illinois or New Jersey or New York, where it just pencils so beautifully, or if you can get like a REAP grant.
Makes sense. I get it. What's the most successful activity you've done to promote marketing wise?
Honestly, I would say it's probably just strategic partnerships, and it's less on the like general advertising front. It's more on the partnerships, and then just targeted marketing that we do, where we will reach out directly and do some direct sales to key installers that we identify. So we spend some time and effort in identifying the companies that we're going to work with. We've put together some joint branding, co-branded materials that certain installers can get access to if they are going to hit a certain amount of volume. And that's also really helpful because we're able to really clearly highlight their strengths and our strengths in a single document and give them an easy tool that they can hand out to a customer to show just how those strengths come together to give them the best possible value.
Gotcha. So you don't do any like digital marketing or TV, anything like that. It's all very strategic. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, the problem for us is one of the things that we've started to learn lately is the best way to operate for us as a business is to try to pick winners, so to speak. So it is a lot more valuable for my team to chase down the right installers to be on the platform than it is for us to get 200 to sign up and hope that like one of them is going to really fit the mold. So we've kind of gotten into a new season where that's our main focus these days is picking that out. And then the other thing is we get a lot through referrals.
Great.
People move around in the business, and anybody that works with us, when they move somewhere new, they instantly tell their new boss like, hey, you guys got to get SolRates. This is really helpful in the commercial space. And so that's been great for us too.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
What advice can you give an entrepreneur that's looking to start a brand here in 2024?
Oh gosh. Let's see. There's a lot of opportunity out in this space. I think you need to find something that you know well, find a problem that you are uniquely qualified to solve, or if you're not uniquely qualified to solve it, put together a team of people who are. I think hustling is something you should expect. Always expect it to be harder and take longer than you think it's going to take in those first years. I think people tend to overestimate what they can get done in a short amount of time and underestimate what they can get done if they just keep grinding at it over a longer period of time. And I think, try to, as best as you can, set a good team culture, define like what your company's values are, what drives you. SolRates has a pretty clear mission. Our mission is to make financing commercial solar projects faster, better, and easier for everybody involved. And our software really helps a lot of people with that. That's been a great thing for me. And you need to also make sure that your family is on board with it too. I'm married, I have 3 kids. If the wife and kids don't understand, sometimes work balance can get a little off. But what I've tried to do throughout my life is I try to still make time for family when it counts. So if that means you hop offline from, say 6 to 9 p.m. to be with kids, or really for us, our kids are young, so 5 to 8 p.m. to be with kids, then you can hop back on later if you need to burn some midnight oil. And then, obviously as you scale and you get more of a team behind you, work life starts to work out a little bit better again. which is nice. So
Awesome advice, Dustin. I appreciate it. Anything I haven't asked you about yourself and SolRates that you want our viewers to know?
I'm trying to think. No, I mean, I'm very grateful. It has, it's been a real pleasure to be able to serve our customers in this market. It's been a real pleasure to have wonderful team members that, we can work alongside one another. My values come from my faith. I'm a Christian, and I believe that, we are called to love one another, and we try to honor God in all we do in and through our business. And my hope is that we get a chance to help as many companies as we possibly can. We're growing and scaling in really new and exciting ways. We're also starting to look into ways that we can leverage AI further to grow and expand our business. I have some very fun projects underway on that front that I think could be really interesting to the future of SolRates and hopefully to the future of our industry. But no, that pretty much sums it up. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I understand the hustle of trying to get started, get launched, and get traction out there. It's a lot of fun. So stay with it. And yeah, thank you for the opportunity to be on your show.
Definitely, Dustin. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Have a terrific day.
You too.